Good morning, everyone. It is that fall time of year, and it means a few things. Grab your scarves. I am bringing this out not because it's cold, but to stretch chest, shoulders, and possibly hamstrings as well. So, if you have a sturdy scarf, just a really long cloth, even a sweatshirt sleeve, belt, bathrobe tie, all that will work. We will use that in today's class. Many of you know that we typically do not use props except for things like folded towels and blankets and something like a scarf or a belt. Pretty much everyone has that. Not everyone has bolsters and blocks and fancy yoga whales to do back bends over and things like that. So I try not to incorporate things that I don't think everybody has. If you have blocks, if you have bolsters, and if you know how to use them and you know that they're applicable for certain poses I teach, I definitely encourage you to grab them and use them as you see fit. But just a friendly reminder that that's not part of what I'm instructing. So you'll do that on your own according to what you already know. But yeah, I love the stretch with the strap. Today's class is going to emphasize grounding through being in poses a little bit longer and also me having some awkward pauses between my sentences. So in the fall, there's a little bit more commotion. Kids go back to school. There's wind. It's dry air. The leaves fall. All this stuff is a little ungrounding. It's a good time of year to bring in some counterbalance and to ground after a busy and possibly draining summer. To reestablish some integrity of our grounded self before we go into the for some stressful holiday season. So to ground, we're going to hold poses longer. We're also going to begin laying down. So go ahead and just lay down. Breathe deep. And just relax. Bend the right leg. And take tree pose. Extend the arms overhead. Keep breathing deep. And if you haven't yet, reach the full capacity of your breath. And gradually add volume to each inhale. And take time with each exhale. And go ahead and lift the knee. Bring the knee deep into the chest. Deep breath. And slowly roll out the ankle. And do both directions. And take both knees to chest. Breathe. And open the arms and take the legs to the left. Hold the stretch. Breathe. And just relax. Other side. And when you feel nice and even, come back to knees to chest. And bring the feet to the ground, lengthen through the right leg, open the left knee. And balance the sides of reclined tree. Do about 5 to 7 breaths, long, slow breaths, so it takes a little while. Let the hips just open, gravity assisting it. When ready, lift the knee and bring it slowly and deeply into the chest. And roll out the ankle. And do both directions. And when you've done both directions, we're going to pivot up onto the right hip and take a hip side stretch. The bottom leg lengthened and the opposite arm out to side. If you want, you can do the first type of twist we did with both knees together. Otherwise, enjoying this nice deep stretch and taking time for rhythmic breathing. And let's go ahead and take the other side of that stretch. And take your time to transition. And when you're ready, unwind and take knees to chest. And let's go ahead and rock on up and switch to the hands and knees. Roll out the back. Very smooth. And let's go ahead and lower all the way. And inhale the easy Cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, easy Cobra. And lift the arms a bit. Hold and breathe. Exhale, lower. Use the core and lift. And if you'd like to do a rest pose, you can. Otherwise, let's hold the plank. Nice flat or rounded back, deep breath, lifting out of the shoulders, pressing through all parts of the hand. For those with sensitive wrists, you may notice that my wrists are a little more forward than the shoulders. I highly recommend that. Or even placing the palms at the edge of the mat so the palms are higher than the fingers. That will help with the wrists a lot. And we'll segue into a nice downward dog. Lifting the hips high. And then walk or lightly hop to the top of the mat. And come into a half lift. Then a full fold. Straight back lift. Consider bending the knees. Come up with integrity of the spine. Arms to sky. Breathing smooth, hands to heart. Just take a moment to stand tall and feel grounded. And then you can take a chair with the hands to heart. And that's easier on the back and shoulders. If your knees are sore, you can just bend a little bit. But if it feels good to go deep, do that. You can have the arms lifted a bit, maybe a bit more, eventually fully lengthened, hands together overhead. Lots of weight in the heels. So you're building up the posterior chain of muscles, not just the front of the thigh. Deep breath. Exhale, hands down. Walk back to downward dog. Lift nice and high in the hips. And lower the knees. Lower to face down. Inhale, basic locust. Exhale, release. Inhale, Cobra, using the arms, but just a little bit, and hold for 3 breaths. Exhale, lower. Using the core to lift, and push into the legs. Downward dog. And knees down. Come into a cat pose. Tuck under the toes. Lift the knees and take a levitating cat. Building warmth deep in the core. And now let's take a nice, relaxed child's pose. Come on back to hands and knees. Let's place the elbows on the ground. Move the legs way back and drop the hips. Elbow plank. And then we're going to segue into the Sphinx and hold here a little bit, emphasizing the lift of the chest and the depth of the breath. And if you like, lengthen the arms, soften the shoulders, open the sternum, breathe. And come on down. And then use the core and lift. And take a nice long downward dog. Lift the right leg high. And use your core muscles to take a slow step to Crescent Lunge. Right foot forward, knee above the heel or ankle. Come on up and settle into it. Breathe, be steady, just relax. Place the hands down. Turn the left hand out to the left, right arm up. If your shoulder's sore, you can hold the hip or low back. Otherwise, the arm's up. The chest is open. Breath is full and deep. You can come on down and take a runner's lift. You could just have your hands on the ground, otherwise lift and hold the thigh. Stretch a little deeper into the hip. Stay buoyant in the chest. Shoulders relaxed. And exhale, child's pose. You can try child with wide legs if that helps. Whatever feels good. There's many variations of child. The main thing is just to ground and feel steady deep inside. Let's go ahead and come on back to downward dog. And gradually lift that left leg high. And take a slow flow step to Crescent Lunge. And we'll hold for 5 long breaths here. You can have a long or a shorter lunge depending on what your needs are for challenging strength and flexibility. Mainly you want to align, breathe, and work on that steady feeling. It's natural that we may not feel very steady inside at first, and the more we cultivate that practice, the more we improve upon that. So if you're not at the level that you're wanting to be at, stay hardened, keep practicing, focus on one breath at a time, and know that progress builds slowly and consistently. Hands down, right arm down, left arm up, rotated raised runner. Exhale, unwind. And back knee down, stay in the basic lunge or lift a bit and sink into it. Keeping the hips, they want to move off to the side, but keep them relatively square. And breathe. Exhale, child's pose. And when ready, come back to hands and knees. Let's go ahead and turn to the side. Walk or hop the feet apart. Draw into the core, a little bend in the knees, and set up for triangle pose. Open up the arms and open up the right foot. Turn the back foot in, lengthen, and breathe. Triangle. And take the top arm behind the back, open chest and shoulders. Side angles, and then pass through warrior. Very smooth. Let's switch to triangle on the other side. Turn the back foot up, completely open that left foot, very long through the arms and the ribs. Hold. And take the arm behind the back, stretching open in the chest and shoulders. Knee above the ankle, forearm light on the thigh. Pass through warrior two. And then settle it all down, center the feet. Hinge into a straddle. And then take the arms forward and have a neutral neck. Deep breath. And bring the hands back. And walk or hop the feet into a squat. Now, if hopping into the squat doesn't serve you, definitely do as you like. You can even skip the squat and do a seated hip opener instead. There's those awkward pauses I mentioned. All right. A few more deep breaths, enjoying some silence. Very good. Let's carefully sit down. Switch to a nice cross-legged position and take out the strap, stretching the chest. Now, depending on how you feel, you can use a really long position of the strap, or you might, I like to double it. That makes it shorter, but a little bit more firm. And then it's a deeper stretch. So have it be long if you need, make it shorter as you like. We're going to move a little bit and hold. When you're ready, sustain the stretch, breathing. And release. Let's switch to hands and knees and lower to face down. Setting up for the bow pose, let's take a locust. See how you feel. You can always do locust with bent knees or sphinx with bent knees. Otherwise, coming into the prep for bow. And inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. And rotate the head to the right. Wiggle the hips a little bit. Make sure the back muscles are letting go. You just soften into the form. Head comes back to center. Hands placed a little higher and wider than the shoulders. And inhale, Cobra. A little softness in the elbows, openness in the chest. And if your back doesn't feel like it wants to do long holds and back bending, then go ahead and do less. Otherwise, we'll try and spend about 5 breaths here. Exhale, lower. Rotate the head to the other side. And just let it all stretch. When you're ready, bring the head back to center. Let's transition to a comfortable seat for a seated twist. Now I'll be doing the Rajasana, sitting on the heels, but if you feel better doing a different twist, go ahead. We'll take a nice twist to the right and stay very steady with the breath. Another side. And come on back to center. Let's conclude practicing with some refined yoga. Lay on the mat. Have your strap nearby. And lift the right leg. Hold the back of the leg or place the strap over the foot. It may help to have the left leg bent, but eventually you can have both legs lengthening. We're going to stretch through the hamstrings and also notice how this helps with the hip and the low back. Easing tension all through the body. Breathing. When you're ready, let's go ahead and switch sides. Hold the back of the leg or use your strap over the foot. Toes draw down and the heel lifts up. Quality breath. Now, if the second side is a much tighter hamstring, you could hold for quite a bit longer. If the first side was tighter, you could go back to that, do a little extra. Ultimately, when you feel even, you release both legs and just relax in Shavasana. Close the eyes, soften, and let go. Try to deepen the breath. And gradually come back to the body. Take knees to chest. And a comfortable seat. Sit nice and tall. Breathe deep. Let's conclude with a clearing breath and rounds of Om. Breathe in. Open mouth, exhale. And inhaling for Om. Namaste. Right, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, indeed. Classes are brought to you by donations, so please go to the description in the lower part of the video and click on the Venmo or PayPal link. If there's any troubles or you have any questions, please let me know. There's also links to my website, the other programs I offer. I think there's mention of the yoga tour or cycling tour with yoga I'm doing in Santa Barbara in late March, so look into that. Check out my cycling YouTube channel, a separate channel. I updated something yesterday. So lots of good content and different things to participate in. Thank you so much for joining in the class. Drink water and eat good food. Tea is something that I highly recommend. I'm not sponsored or promoting this particular flavor, but my fiance asked me to pick some of this up the other day. There's also a nettle tea that this company makes that I really, really like. It's good for allergies, good for draining. It will make you need to pee. So drink the nettle tea earlier in the day rather than right before bed. And yeah, drink tea, drink water. If you like coffee and alcohol, join the club. But don't emphasize those things. Stay with the hydrating beverages and take hot baths, eat soups. Best wishes and stay grounded this fall. Is a tumultuous time in the world and a time of year where there's a lot of shift. And we need to bolster ourselves heading into winter and the holidays and beyond. So take good care. And I look forward to the next time. We'll do vinyasa on Saturday.